we live in an interesting culture where if someone disagrees with you, they're now an evil person, they're a bad person, or they're a person that you shouldn't talk with. And I'm just kind of like, if you think about like politics from way back in the day, or even like, yeah, ancient Rome, or it's like people would sit down around a table, philosophize, discuss, try to get closer to the truth, poke holes in their own arguments, devil's advocate, back and forth. And it's like this ongoing process of attempting to figure out what's true, what's better. And I feel like, yeah, in today's world, we have these sound bites, and you now can see a 2-second clip of someone and be like, oh, they're bad. Or it's interesting because
it's very unfortunate, I'd say.
It is unfortunate because, like, when's the last time some of these people that have a ton of debates on Twitter have ever sat down in a room or on a podcast to discuss, okay, where specifically do we disagree? Where do we agree, first of all? Because it's probably 85% of the things we agree on. But, like, these discussions of nuance and depth are not really had very much. And I guess that's kind of why I see podcasts as a beautiful path out of that. But I'm not sure what you think. It is.
Oh, 100%. Because, I mean, when you were talking about this just a second ago, the concept of disagreeing on things, I mean, essentially that's what Congress was built on, or parliament systems. These are being able to disagree in a chamber where you're representing people who put you in that place for you to voice this opinion. That's democracy. I mean, we've built literally all of our systems on it, on Congress, Parliament. They're all built on the system of disagreeing and being able to go afterwards and grab a beer at your local bar afterwards. I mean, you look at our founding fathers. That's what they did. They would sit there and try and write the Constitution. They would have delegates from different states. They would disagree on it. What would they do afterwards? They'll go to the pub and talk about it even some more, or be friends about it. I mean, we're in a totally different time now. I forgot. I'm so sorry. Oh, the podcast. Yeah. And I see podcasts nowadays as Congress. It's a place where I can have a conversation with a person. We could disagree on things. We could agree on things, but we can have this rational discourse, which is so important for democracy, or for a republic, for anything that we care about. Having the ability to have free speech, whether we disagree with each other or not, me being able to voice my opinion and not being worried that I'll be labeled something because of it, is just so important. And I see it all the time through podcasts now. I mean, you can't do it on the legacy medias anymore, so you have to do it somewhere. So that's another great question.
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, it is disappointing because, yeah, I've had a lot of conversations either with Nate or people that I went to school with, and it's crazy. Like, I always find this kind of funny because, we both put our content out on the internet, and then you probably get a lot more negative comments than me. But either way, we both get some negative comments. And it's so funny because it's like, if we were in the same room and I would have just said what I just said, their reaction wouldn't have been as vitriolic, hateful, angry, etc. And like they probably would have. I just feel like this mode in which people are engaging in politics allows for this, I guess, non-nuanced, just cutthroat approach to, oh, he disagrees, he's stupid. And it's just like, it's very unfortunate, but I guess
it's much easier to just, call somebody something, through the internet because you're on Twitter and you can just see something and say, oh, he's a dumb, lib or something like that, than to say, hey, I disagree with him because of this. Because that takes you actually to the rational level of things, which majority of people either avoid or unfortunately just aren't there. Right? Because like you're saying, they see these topics, they see the clickbaits for them, and that's all they say. They just sometimes, like we were talking about the comments, sometimes I just read these comments and to me they're funny because I'm like, I just read that on CNN. It's like a CNN headline, but in my comments. So it's really funny. And it's funny, but it's very unfortunate, like we were saying. So
yeah, like I'm just trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to like think. Do you think, I guess as a question, like, do you have optimism for the way that the parties are going? Like, it seems like right now it's you have a few paths you can go. You can go the mainstream media path, or you can go the independent media path, and within those paths you have right, left, center. It's interesting because like I guess this is finally the question I'm getting to, because I feel like, are you Republican or are you Democrat? And this is when I get that question, I give this answer, and maybe it's a bad answer, and I'm curious your opinion on it because, yeah, I just want to see. I say, my name is Harley, and I'm an individual who's trying to learn about all kinds of different topics, and each topic is complex and different, and I'm just trying to figure it out. I lean more, conservative in regards to I grew up with a religious Christian family, and I also lean a little bit more libertarian because I run a business and I don't like when the government gets involved. But I notice that there's complexities within everything, or that's kind of my answer. I don't like saying I'm Republican, because then all of a sudden I'm now in a box, and then Harley is now this guy, and I'm like, I'm not that guy, I'm this guy. So I don't know what you think of that.
Yeah, it's unfortunately that is the outcome of a two-party system that we have in the United States, and it's pretty unique to the United States because if you look at different, I can't say. It's always switching between republics and democracies. You look at Western democracies; most of them, the ones in Europe that we'll see, are composed of parliaments. Parliaments you cannot sustain with a two-party system, because for you to build coalition and for you to have the majority, you do need to go and make friends with perhaps the people that are more center, or you got to build coalitions, for example. So it's that outcome of a two-party system that we have here in the United States. I can't remember the last time that there was like a actual like meaningful third-party candidate that actually would represent something and actually would carve out a solid position and everything like that. So my thing is that if you get asked, are you a Republican or Democrat, I like to break it down because, like you're saying, everything is much more complex, and every single controversial topic that anybody will always debate about, or at least right now that we have, is a multifaceted problem. If somebody's going to tell you yes or no, black and white answer, it's never going to be like that. There's pros and cons on both sides of things. You can list them from abortions to immigration to everything. Every single topic has its pros and cons. So unfortunately, if you're just saying I'm Republican, then all of a sudden people are starting to say, well, you agree with this, and this. And I like to say, well, hold up, listen. I'm not voting for the Democrats because until the Democrats start to provide any sort of policy that I actually like when it comes down to the economy or it comes down to immigration, I'm not voting for them. It doesn't make sense. Do I agree with every single thing that the Republicans say? Absolutely not. Do I agree with everything that, let's say, Trump says, that I voted for twice and absolutely loved and still do love? No. I will criticize Trump with no problem. And the reason why is because I can't confine myself to one single, person or party, because that kind of makes you a cult, essentially, right? If you're going to defend values that are not aligning with yourself just because of a representation to a party or an individual, I'm sorry. You can criticize this individual and still like them and vote for them, but that's what I like to separate myself from. So I look at every issue for what it is. Some issues I agree with, quote unquote Democrats on. Some majority of issues I agree with Republicans on, but I can criticize Republicans for a lot of things that they're doing,